All right, welcome back to episode 284 of the 2 Minute Warning. It has finally happened. James Harden is leaving the Houston Rockets as part of a 4-team trade. He's going to the Brooklyn Nets. Jay, tell me a little bit about this trade and what it means for all these teams involved.
Huge Blockbuster trade. I think it was pretty much expected when the Rockets announced they're going to keep James Harden away from practice until they can get him off the team and trade him elsewhere. Clearly, if you're going to keep the dude away, you don't want him on the team, and you're going to get rid of him as fast as you can. I expect it to be tomorrow. However, turned around today. He's heading to the Brooklyn Nets. Like Carson said, Blockbuster trade, 4 teams. This trade included, obviously, the Nets and Rockets. However, it also included the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The reason the 2 other teams, the Pacers and Cavs, are really included in this trade was the Cavs are included to get some first-round picks to send to the Houston Rockets, and the Pacers were included so they could send Victor Oladipo to the Rockets so they have somewhat of a replacement player to take James Harden's place. Clearly, they're not on the same par. However, the Houston Rockets are getting Victor Oladipo and 3 first-round picks in 2022, 2024, and 2026, along with 4 first-round picks in 2021, 2023, 2025, and 2027. While the Rockets have John Wall and Victor Oladipo, they're clearly not in win-now mode. Pacers, they were approached, like I said, for Victor Oladipo. They got Karis LeVert and a second-round pick. I think that was kind of a win for them because Victor Oladipo, there's a lot of rumors that he wasn't happy there. He came out and said he was fine with being a Pacer, but however, still, no one really believed him, and they definitely think he was definitely on the trading block at all times, so that's kind of why I was a little iffy. They kind of definitely moved on from that and got a decent player in Karis LeVert and a second-round pick along for that trade. I think they could have gotten a little more, but it is what it is. They both kind of wanted to separate their ways, and it worked out well. Nets, obviously, clearly, pretty much getting James Harden. James Harden alone is pretty good. I'm not sure how much more you need. Rockets, like I said, they got all those picks along with Victor Oladipo, and then the Cavaliers got Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince. More role players, I don't know. The Cavs aren't really, that's this trade, unless they got James Harden, the trade really wasn't going to save their future. However, it's something to get there, at least get some big names on the team, maybe sell tickets for the Cavaliers to get some people in the arena if they ever get fans.
Yeah, this was bound to happen. I mean, just this morning, I think, in an interview, James Harden was talking about how there's problems in Houston that are never going to fix. So he doesn't know what to do, whatever, and he said thanks, and he walked out of the room. So you kind of saw this coming. This is really big, kind of make another big team. I mean, Durant needs help. Kyrie Irving's obviously a mess doing whatever he's doing. Makes the Nets relevant in the East. I mean, as far as the teams involved in this trade, Rockets and Pacers kind of just building for the future. Yeah. They probably won't be relevant anytime soon, but in the coming years, this trade will probably be relevant for them. And then, of course, the Nets picking up James Harden, that speaks for itself. And then the 4th team involved, Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, I don't expect to see anything from them. I'm not really interested in that team unless LeBron goes back.
Yeah.
So I think this is huge for KD to finally get someone in Brooklyn to play with. That is, was Kyrie injured recently last season, or was he just kind
last
of?
Year he was
last year he was
moody and injured.
So Kyrie has just been really inconsistent. So I think James Harden makes a great addition to that team. And as far as the situation in Houston, if I'm John Wall, wouldn't you be upset in this situation? You went there to play with somebody new, and honest, now they're gone. And so I don't know about that.
Like
that
you said with James Harden interview, John Wall in the interview himself seemed very unhappy with Houston Rockets. Now, am I going to say, is he going to demand a trade? I don't know. His contract's very hard to move. He's just as expensive as Russell Westbrook. And, yes, he's a great player, amazing player, star player, all-star player, but he's not the franchise guy that can take you to the championship alone. So for him to be on the trade block as well, not sure what the intrigue is. 4 teams to go and get him. Not saying he is going to ask to be traded, but if he were, kind of a similar situation as Russell Westbrook. But as far as who really wins this trade, while the Brooklyn Nets pretty much gave up everything they have for their entire future, they did a similar trade in the past. About, I think it was 6-7 years ago, whenever it was, they traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and gave up pretty much their future for 2 amazing players, but they were way past their prime, being 36, 37, 38, whatever they were. I hope they don't make the same mistake again. I'm not a Nets fan by any means, but it's tough to see a team sacrifice your entire future 6-7 years in advance, and really you don't even know what you're going to get out of James Harden. We've seen he's been slacking these past 5 games. I'm not sure if he's sandbagging just to encourage the Rockets to trade him, get rid of him, so because he's not putting up the numbers like he used to. I think that was intentional sandbag, so they would move him. Worked out for him. But if they win just 1 championship, whether it be this year, next year, or 2 years, it was all worth it. No matter how much you gave him in the future, you got a title under your belt, under your name. James Harden got his first ring. Durant got another one outside of the Warriors. Kyrie got one outside of LeBron. It was completely worth it. Just like when the Toronto Raptors traded for Kawhi Leonard, even if they didn't have him for the long term, they won one ring, and that'll be remembered for the entire Toronto Raptors future. So no matter what, if they could get one ring, it's worth it. If they don't, it's hard to say if it's worth it. No one remembers how many times you go to the Eastern Conference Championship. Everyone remembers how many rings you got. So that really determines a lot. To me, the Rockets are in a great position. If they could keep John Wall happy, keep Victor Oladipo happy, if they could keep them young and healthy, maybe they could build something the next 3-4 years. That could be a big potential thing, having that much future potential. And then, like Carson said, Pacers, they're kind of building for the future, but they definitely aren't in the same spot as the Rockets. And then along with the Cavs. Cavs are completely irrelevant, even when they did have LeBron for 13 years, whatever it was. Greatest player of all time, and he got one championship. You're a failed organization. They're not going to get anything without the best player on earth, in my opinion. So Nets have the potential to win this trade. It's going to be iffy. Rockets have the potential to win this trade. It's going to be iffy. And the Pacers and Cavs are kind of just role players like we all assumed in the 4-team block trade.
Yeah, along those lines, of course, Nets win this trade initially. Rockets could be proved to be useful, but won't immediately. It'll be in the future. So I'm really excited to see what Harden does in Brooklyn. For
Sounds
sure.
good.
All right, 2-minute warning. Thanks for watching.